I declare the meeting open at 12:30. Would you all be upstanding for the affirmation, please? We recognise the traditional owners of the land. We are inspired by the early pioneers and by those who gave their lives for our country. We now ask God's blessing on our deliberations and on our commitment to build a better lifestyle and environment. Please be seated. This council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to council's YouTube channel. The recording will also be made available on council's website. Whilst all care is being taken to ensure that your privacy is maintained, please be aware that your presence may be recorded. Do we have any apologies?
No apologies, Mr Mayor, everybody's here.
Thank you, Councillor. Could I have a confirmation of the minutes, please, from the previous meeting on Monday the 4th of March?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'd move a motion that the minutes of the previous meeting appear to be accurate.
Could I have a seconder, please?
I'm happy to second those.
Thank you, Councillor Heslop. All in favour? Carried. Matters arising from the minutes. Are there any matters arising from the minutes of the previous meeting? I'm not seeing any, so we'll move on. Any presentations or awards? There are nil. Petitions or joint letters? Nil. Any disclosure of a conflict of interest?
Yes, 14.4, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Irwin. Any informal meetings of councillors?
I'm happy to move that the informal meetings of councillors are true and correct, but with one amendment.
Yes. And
26th of the 2nd, 2024, the last meeting, the councillor briefing, SWRRANNGS meeting. I wasn't actually at that meeting because I did have a conflict, but it doesn't actually say that I declared conflict for that particular meeting, so I just want that amended.
Thank you very much, Councillor Heslop. Lauren, you'll note that. Thank you very much. Any items brought forward? There don't appear to be. Consideration of reports of officers. Oh. Could I have a seconder?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Do we need to move it to the vote? Yes. Can I put that to the vote? All in favour? Carried. Against? Carried. Thank you. Items brought forward. There's none. Consideration of reports of officers. There's none listed. All right. Item 9.2.1, Visitor Information Servicing Policy. Do I go for a motion?
Mr Mayor?
Could I have a motion, please?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move the motion that Council endorses the Visitor Information Servicing Policy to support its long-term commitment to the delivery of visitor information services.
Thank you, Councillor Stasevich. Could I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Stasevich.
This motion relates to the standard that Council are adopting in terms of the broader reach into the community for our visitors coming through and the services that are provided by two unaccredited visitor information services, one at Stawell and one at St Arnaud, and also its ongoing support for the accredited function at Halls Gap. It's important to note that we have something in the order of 36 or 40 volunteers across both Stawell and St Arnaud who provide our visitors invaluable service and who are passionate about their area. I can certainly attest to the passion for the St Arnaud end of the Shire, where we have a group of people that are committed to making sure that our visitors receive the attention and care that they need. And that attractions that would not normally be visible to them are shown to them, and the same, I'm sure, applies to Stawell. To that end, I commend this document forward as our attempt to formally address the delivery of that service. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stasevich. Councillor Emerson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Well covered by Councillor Ostasevich. Just one point is that the volunteer services are working very, very well, and I commend both Senate and Store for that.
Thank you for that. Would any other councillor wish to speak? Would you like to sum up, Councillor Stasevich?
Other than to say that we expect so much more from our visitors, particularly the people up at St Arnaud End. We really want to start overtaking the stall numbers because they've started to overtake St Arnaud. So there's a competition brewing now, of course, and it would behove me to say that Joy and Shirley and all of the women up at St Arnaud are saying, well, you know, we've got to pick up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stasevich. Right, I'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Against? Carried. (9.3.1) Great Western Pavilion Upgrade Budget Review. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Grady.
I'd like to move the motion to accept option 1, that supports the allocation of an additional increase of $175,000 to set the overall budget of the Great Western Recreation Reserve Pavilion upgrade to $2.637 million. Additional budget to be allocated from savings found in the rate subsidies in the 24-25 financial year. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Irwin. Would the mover wish to speak?
Yes, Mr Mayor. The extra funding is basically needed because we have to have a electricity upgrade from 80 amps to 160. There was a few oversights. I think it's a big sewage pipe there that we couldn't get around. There's trees, so there's just and a little bit an additional bit of floor space, which was I feel was needed myself. So yeah, that's just basically that's the basic need for the extra money, and I feel it's going to be a great asset to Great Western and the community, and we should go ahead with it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Grady. Councillor Irwin.
Yeah, look, Councillor Grady summed up, due to the constraints of the site, there's had to be some redesign, and the contingency part of the budget has been pretty well soaked up, so it does require some additional funding to complete this project. So more than happy to second the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Irwin. Does any other councillor wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Stasevich.
It's important to note that a couple of years ago we were provided information by the Great Western community and ably led by the president of the club at that time. This project has come a long way since that briefing to give the community and the council comfort that there was ongoing viability within the Great Western area. And this $2.3 odd million is a testament to the fact that council listened to their request, their argument for a better outcome, and hopefully soon we'll be able to see the rewards. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stasevich. Any other councillor wish to speak? Okay. Would the mover, Councillor Grady, would you like to sum up?
Really nothing further to add, Mr Mayor.
Thank you so much. I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favour of the motion? Against? Carried. (9.4.1) The procurement policy. Could I have a motion, please?
I'm happy to move the recommendation that Council adopts the revised procurement policies attached to this report.
Thank you, Councillor Heslop. Could I have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Irwin. Councillor Heslop.
I'm just scrolling down my screen. So one of the proposed changes that I really like about this policy is to increase the local supplier evaluation allowance from at least 5% to 10%. And I think it's really important that we do support local suppliers. This has been tested and it is achievable, and I think that it's a really important aspect to this policy, so very happy to support it.
Councillor Irwin.
I think Councillor Heslop summed that up well. Not a lot of change, but the addition to local suppliers is a very good thing.
Thank you, Councillor Irwin. Would any other councillor wish to speak? No one? Would the mover wish to sum up, Councillor Heslop?
Nothing further to add.
Thank you. I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favour? Against? Carried. Notices of motion or rescission are nil. Reports from councillors or committees. I'll start with Councillor Dempsey. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Busy month once again. We started off with the International Women's Day celebrations, which seems like a long time ago now, with events being held from Northern Grampians Shire Council in Stawell and St Arnaud. I attended the session in Stawell, MC'd that event. We had 4 incredible guest speakers: Lisa White, Sue Campigley, Christine Huff and Kim Minton-Lane. The theme of International Women's Day this year was Inspire Inclusion. So we had some very inspiring speeches and words of wisdom from those 4 women who got up and spoke. And we thank the Stawell Neighbourhood House for hosting that event on the day, and as well to the staff, Sandy and the staff, for organising that event. I think it was notable to see, I think pretty much everyone, majority of the senior management and executive staff of Northern Grampians Shire Council in attendance. I think it speaks volumes about internally the support and push for the day and for what that represents. So I thank the CEO Brent for leading that up, and for all the staff and community members who attended on the day. The Central Grampians Len had a Governance and Finance Subcommittee meeting, which I attended, and a board meeting, and they're tracking extremely well with a number of key programs continuing to run in schools and beyond. The Victorian Local Governance Association held a conference with the theme being Leading Under Pressure, which I attended. So we heard from a number of councillors from across the state and some keynote speakers as well, discussing the issues and challenges within council, and then how we work in our last, say, 6 months on council and into the future. Harmony Day was another major success. I think everyone can agree there. There was a number of activities being hosted, in particularly by council across the state, across the Shire, and for the week. And I attended the event at the library in Stawell, which was to welcome new residents, with the CWA catering for that event, and the Stawell Secondary College provided a cultural dance, and there were a number of attendees there, which also led into the Harmony Festival, which was run by the Northern Grampians Shire Council Multicultural Officer Patricia and the Multicultural Hub Working Group team, who did a phenomenal job of pulling together several, members of the community and represented a number of cultural groups to showcase, I guess, what is now in our diverse community, and the feedback and attendance on the day really showed the value of the community and the community feel of supporting one another despite any level of diversity within the community too. So it was heavily embraced with, there would have been like hundreds of people there with lots of food from probably about a dozen different countries represented, which is great to see. So the overwhelming positive feedback from the community as well that I'd received was definitely worth noting. So I thank Council and that working group for working tirelessly to build the relationships within our community to then run that event, and then the work they're doing in future as well. I also attended the citizenship ceremony in Stawell. It's always great to see our Shire welcoming new residents. The Diversity Dash was held in St Arnaud recently, and that was at the St Arnaud Primary School, encompassing the St Arnaud Secondary College as well. And that's been an annual event that they put on it's a bit of a colour run, but with the theme of diversity and inclusion as well. So it was great to attend with Councillor Hislop as well, and support that event with the number of students there. I also was able to coordinate and align Council's branding and tourism strategy with the Stawell Gift and the Walk to Your Blocks podcast in particular. We were able to create relationships with them and coordinate them attending Stawell to facilitate their podcast for the day, but then align with Council and their strategies on promoting what Council has to offer, what the community has to offer, what's on available to promote the Stawell Gift locally and more broadly, but to also promote what else can be done on that day. So thank you to Justine and Emma Howlett, who was the representative on the day, speaking to events happening across the Shire. We interviewed this Historical Society as well, the Visitor Information Centre. It was really great to be able to align those two and move forward in future. Chatted to community members as well, so you can view that or listen to that on Spotify too if you wish. They also attended a number of local businesses in the town and promoted what they had to offer. Obviously, we've had the Stawell Gift as well, which has occurred within this month, and plenty happening that weekend with a range of different weather that will be, I guess, a gift not to forget. I thank Cabbage and the team as well. It was really great to see. I was initiated a couple of years ago getting the women's finalist names on the scoreboard, which has been a huge achievement through the VAL and the athletics club as well. So we had perfect seats in there volunteering for the day and didn't get a drop of rain on us, which was quite nice. But where we were was positioned right near the drainage, and you could just see how flooded it was, but then how well Cabbage and the Parks and Gardens team had set that up to enable for exactly what he said would happen. Like, don't worry, it's going to all drain in 5-10 minutes, obviously until the rain hit again and again. But it's a credit to the team to be able to see that occur, and from all that work and turf transplantation and everything, that was a real testament. And I think the VAL definitely highly praised Council and the team as well there. So that allowed majority of events to continue in a almost seamless manner, which is great as well. So we also had the Discover Northern Grampians branding on the day, and a stall as well, which provided information to local community members or anyone entering through the gate, which was I guess a seed of an idea that I'd spoken with Justine and the team about, and then they turned it into a really fabulous stall establishment on the day, which then was the idea of the branding to enable people to come along, get some more information, then maybe stick around after the gift, or to come back to Stawell and Northern Grampians surrounding at another time and experience and explore what's on in the Shire. So thank you to Council for that as well. And that's pretty much been my month. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councillor Stasevich.
First of all, congratulations to the Stawell Gift. They've successfully combined an athletics version with an aquatic event. I think that was profoundly useful as a multi-purpose facility. Congratulations. No, all jokes aside, to carry through that event with the rainfall that you had was testament, and I agree with Councillor Dempsey on that. I attended Scan, and we seem to have a much closer frequency of Scan because of Easter, but Scan, there are a few things that raised with Scan, particularly about Council's assistance for the Historical Society event, which the Mayor opened up at the Gold Trail. The Council really didn't support that at all, but other than the Mayor attending and opening on their behalf through invitation, there was some discussion about how that group could in future raise attention to these sort of things, and we're still discussing that with the members. I attended the Sonata Debutant Ball last Saturday, and I'm pleased to say that it went really well. We've got a few things to do with the Presidium and the curtains and the fact that they're falling apart and PowerPoints and so forth, but they're a separate matter. The event went particularly well. The three of us enjoyed ourselves. We changed up a few things where we were able to, instead of just formally sitting there and acknowledging, we stood up and participated with the debutantes and their partners. And may I commend Lisa Esmore and her team, and Annette Driscoll, Lucy, and the name goes on, in their preparation, planning and execution. It was a particularly successful event. Queen Mary Gardens Advisory Committee are looking to us to deliver some concepts on the passive playground. They had a gala presentation or gala event on the weekend, I think the weekend of the Easter. That went particularly well. The weather was very kind to them, unlike Stawell last week, where several hundred participants wandered through the gardens. It's looking particularly good. The signage now proclaims that it is a Botanical Gardens in St Arnaud. You can't miss it when you drive in through King Street to Napier. And that was achieved by the Friends of Garden and also the advisory group raising funds for that activity. And I'm getting old, I need my glasses on. Sunraysia Highway Advisory Committee, we had a meeting with Martha Haylett, who has since taken our concerns on board. We've got a meeting scheduled with the Minister on the 1st of May to try and recover the $10 million worth of funds that were scheduled for use for some bypass lands and some other projects. That will be an interesting conversation. Had a conversation with the Teddington Group. We seem to be in a catch-22 here. The state government continually browbeats us about our engagement and our consultation, and I'd like to go on public record and say, walk the walk, please. We keep on being bashed about the head, and we're trying to walk the walk. We're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But for goodness sake, government, please, the ministers are there to assist our communities. And it gets to a stage where we often laugh about the show for those younger ones, the Yes Minister, that don't recognise that show. It is a parody, but my God, it's so truthful to real life, where we have two ministers that keep on bouncing back our letters from the Shire, from the Mayor and from the community representatives back to Parks Vic. Parks Vic say, no, not our problem. We've been just tasked to execute the program. The Minister then keeps on getting letters saying, hey guys, we want to have a consultation, which didn't exist. I put it to the Minister in this particular case, Minister Demopoulos, to please stop playing Yes Minister and actually engage with the community. Martha Haylett, our local Member of Parliament, is doing a particularly good job. She's actually getting some traction with some ministers so we can talk to them. But even she is finding it difficult to talk to the ministers. And let this be on public record. I'm absolutely frustrated. I'm sure many of our members here are frustrated by the fact that we keep on getting bounced back around and round. And the community are the absolute losers here. So please, talk to us. We are here. You are supposed to represent us. Talk to us. The footy club has had some conversation with us regarding a variety of things. Footy Club, Lions Club and the RSL have a commonality of representatives in St Arnaud, and they have raised a number of issues in terms of processions and the like, but that will be something that we'll be raising with senior executive here to progress forward as part of the eventing policy that we have. Lastly, the East Wimmera Health Service at St Arnaud had a very good meeting with the CEO there over an hour and 3/4, where we spoke about a wide range of health services for the community. He also is frustrated by the fact that the government are not forthcoming with funding for key things like clinical services plans, and which are necessary. I mean, Grampians Health and Stawell have got a clinical service plan which is second to none, I would suggest, and East Wimmera Health Service does not have a workable plan because it's currently not funded. So again, we seem to be seeing the result of lack of foresight by government members in supporting rural medical services. We are certainly under supplied with medical services in Carra ward through the East Wimmera Health Service, which extends into Bull Oak and Yarriambiack. So I commend to this chamber a plea with government to actually engage and do what they're telling us to do and engage. For God's sake, engage. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Irwin.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Yes, it's been busy enough. I think I did catch up with Minister Pearson regarding the Western Highway, but I think that was last month actually. But this month went to the new residents at the library. Unfortunately, Thomas Foods had a big day on that day, and perhaps those that were going to turn up didn't turn up. A bit unfortunate, but anyway, we caught up with them later. The citizenship ceremony, Wimmera Southern Mallee Transport, constantly bang away about the condition of our road network and how poor it is, and also met with Jacinda and Cora, predominantly regarding the Maroona to Portland line and trying to get that upgraded to take some of the million tonnes of mineral sands, which will be, well, hopefully not in our road network, but maybe on our railway lines when the three mineral sands start operating, and the rare earth minerals, which will be needed for the solar panels, wind farms, telephones, all those things that we use in everyday life. Look, it went all right, but yes, it's a big ask, and I'm not too sure whether the money will be coming forth. And of course, as Councillor Dempsey has mentioned, the Multicultural Festival, which was a great night, great afternoon night, and you've already mentioned about Patricia. I think she's done a heck of a job in dragging all that together, and it's just it's good to catch up with some friends. And as the store gift's been mentioned, I'd like to add my congratulations to Cabbage too. He had a bit of a furrowed brow there when the first lot of rain came, but he was confident it'd drain, and credit to everyone involved, including the athletic club and the major events. It was a hell of an effort to get the gifts actually run and won, and congratulations must go to everyone involved. So well done to you too, Barry.
Thanks. Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Hislop.
I'll try not to double up. So started the month as well with the celebrations International Women's Day at St Arnaud. I volunteered Store Vic, which I do once a month, and the day that I actually volunteered was really quite busy, and a credit to the Store Vic and the team, and the VIC is now up and running and doing exceptionally well, and it's a real credit to our Shire. Went to the Twilight Zoo at Halls Gap. We had a networking event. There was local businesses from around the area, so networking event was put on by Mark and Lisa Truick. who are the new owners of Horse Gap Zoo. So thank you very much to them for organising it. It was a great event. Our CEO and Murray were also in attendance, and it was just a really good calibre of people, good having a chat to other businesses and just finding out what's happening on the ground. And it's always nice networking, but to be out at the Horse Gap Zoo at twilight was sort of extra special, and having a wine in the process, it was quite nice. So also went to St Arnaud Secondary College. I was invited to go over there to see and walk through the new buildings. Look, it's just a credit to the area. Very, very impressive. Just walking through, I don't know if they've got double glazed windows, but you just walk in and you just walk in. You don't hear all the outside. It's nice and quiet, it's relaxed, it's new. There's lots of little spaces where the children can sit down and have a bit of a chat. The rooms look fantastic, and just it's a credit to St Arnaud Secondary College for pulling it all together and getting what they have got. It was great to see. Also went to the Diversity Dash with Councillor Dempsey, St Arnaud Primary School and Secondary School, and a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic day. The kids enjoy it, and what a great way to start Easter. It was the day before Easter, so I just thought how appropriate. Also went to, obviously over Easter, went to lots of events over Easter, and I must say that everywhere I went, the crowds were fantastic. I think the crowds were really impressive this year. Main Street sensation, at one point the Main Street was fairly packed, and they had a great calibre of exhibitions and people up there, and it was just the place to be. It was all very happening. The horse races on the Sunday, once again, was a bit of fun, wasn't it, Kevin? And yeah, look, it was a great day. It was a little bit hot, but once again, they had really good crowds. And then Easter Monday, the gift, what can I say? It never stops impressing us. So the crowds again were fantastic, and met a lot of people trying to get out of the rain. But it was, a lot of fun. Also, one of the highlights was to go to Thomas Foods and stall, and a few of our councillors went through and we walked through the new building that's under construction, and it's just massive, and the amount of concrete and the amount of work that's gone into that building is very, very impressive. And look, just talking to the people at Thomas Foods, look, they're bending over backwards to support their employees and stall. They're doing a fantastic job, and just how lucky are we to have such a business and such an organisation in our shire. And that's me.
Thank you, Councillor Hislop. Councillor Emerson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In addition to the normal meetings that I attend monthly with the Northern Grampians Shire and the MAV and the associated kindred bodies, a couple of things happened as well. I attended the Probus Club annual general meeting where they had about 60-odd members there, which was very enjoyable, but they passed on a lot of information to me that they need council to pick up on, which I haven't had a chance yet to go to our offices to do that, but I will. There's about a dozen things there that they're not happy about. Most of my month this year was made up with the Store Gift Event Management Board, and of course the Store Gift Event Management Board is the overseeing board to run the store gift, and I thank Eddie and Kevin for their kind remarks in regard to the Store Gift Event Management Board. It was a real task, but we got it between us all. We got it done in the end, and I understand from our initial discussions on the store gift, we had a record crowd there, which was washed out, but still a lot of people stayed behind and enjoyed the event. On behalf of the Store Gift Event Management Board, I thank the Northern Grampians Shire, the Power Corps organisation and the State Labor Government for their continued financial support. We wouldn't be able to do it without them, and it's muchly appreciated. Time for me now to have just a couple of days quiet where I can refocus on what I've got to do for the community, because the Easter gift is a heck of a program. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Grady.
Great Western Ratepayers Association AGM, where the election of office bearers, we had Joy Robson take on the president again, and Jen O'Donoghue, Mandy Wade, the treasurer. They do an amazing job out there every year. Yeah, there's quite a few sort of issues come up that we're working through with council. They're going actually pretty good. What am I going to see? I've attended the Great Western Futures Committee meeting. We had a very good meeting down there, and it's a bit the same as Halls Gap. There's just some things come up at the meeting that we're working through with council, so that's all on the way. We attended another transmission forum, which is sometimes we think we're going round in circles, but I think we are slowly, we're getting some good information out of it. So it's great to see the Brent and everyone involved in keeping these forums going, and we're getting some new people coming all the time, which is very good. Went to Sanarnard to the TCB meeting over there, which looked like it was going to be a bit of a failure because we had none of the government people turn up, and Anne Webster and the people over there put on a great meeting and give everyone a good say on how they felt about the transmission lines. I went to the VLGA leadership, leading under pressure seminar in Melbourne. Councillor Dempsey and myself attended that. Some really good information come out that about basically meeting procedures and how we work around things. It was a really good day. Sally Capp spoke to us. She didn't mention that she was going to finish up as the mayor at that stage, but there you go. And that was very good that day. And the Halls Gap, the Great Western, store gift, just an amazing event, and everyone's all organisers should be congratulated on how they kept that going and actually got the 2 gifts run and all the events. It was fabulous. Also attended the Thomas Food cold store sort of inspection and walk around with Councillor Heslop and the Mayor, and had a look at just what a massive investment that Thomas Foods are putting into this community. They're just incredible amount of money they're going to spend in our area, and so and whoever supplied the concrete, they'll be doing very well at the moment, I can tell you. So thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll keep mine short as well because I don't want to double up too much, but I also did a Deb's Ball. I did the Debutante's Ball in Stawell, and it was an amazing experience. I've seeing all the girls and boys all dressed up in their dinner suits and white frocks and dancing perfectly around the floor. It was something spectacular. I really enjoyed it. One of the nicest things that I've ever done in my life, and I've done 3 of them now, is the swearing in of new citizens. It is an emotional, special thing that you can't quite explain, just to be there and the emotion attached to these people becoming new Australians. And so I did one of those recently as well, which was my 3rd. The Harmony Festival, as Lauren Dempsey said, was a spectacular event with food from around the world and dancing and just enjoyable. I also attended Thomas Foods on that day to look at their new plate freezer, which is an enormous building, representing, I think, was $70 million. $70 million. The plate freezer is an enormous undertaking. I can't imagine, like Councillor Grady said, the size of the amount of concrete, the tens of thousands of cubic metres of concrete. It's an enormous building. Thomas Foods remains committed to Stawell and our Shire moving into the future. They're also an active participant in helping secure housing for their workforce moving into the future. They employ over 11 different nationalities, and they have all the flagpoles out the front of their office with all of the flags from those countries flying, just to make the people feel welcome where they're working. And I think it's one of the nicest things. I attended the opening of the Central Park female-friendly change rooms at the clubhouse there, and we also had a member for Western Victoria, Jacinta Ermacora, there to help with the opening. It was the official opening of this rebuilt and renewed facility with over $2.5 million spent and invested, and a very, very thorough upgrade as well, beautifully wrought everywhere, with a new extension, with a lift, all new toilets, all new change rooms. As I said, it's now female friendly. It was just spectacularly done. It was a really class-leading refurbishment of this building that was built, I think, in the 70s. I may be wrong with that, I'm not sure. So congratulations to all the team, including those from the Northern Grampians Shire and Bowden Corp. Another nice thing that I did was the primary school dash program at Eventide with St Pat's Primary School children. And their teachers bring a little group of them up, and they go into the craft room with the elderly people there, most of whom are women. There's no gender equality problems there. I think there was one man and about 17 women, but they're just the smiles on the elderly's face as the little kids come in, and they all pair off and go and see their favourite one, and they're making Play-Doh models, they're decorating cakes, they're doing all sorts of different things, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience. That was so good, heartwarming to see the children and the elderly working together and just loving every minute of it and enjoying their company. I also got invited to fire the starting gun at the Stall and Ararat cross-country event, which was out at the racetrack. And of course my fellow councillor, Mr Murray Emerson, came with me, and lo and behold, the starting gun didn't work. So I did on your marks, get set, and then I went like that. Fortunately, Murray was right there, and he went, go! And they all took off immediately, so that was a great thing. Went to the Easter horse races, attended with the CEO and his wife Del, and then we had the big day. We had breakfast and things to do, and then I met the Sports Minister Steve Demopoulos at the Hall of Fame in the morning, and we did a drive out to Pomonal. He wanted to go and have a first-hand look at what had occurred out there and meet with some selected residents and people that had lost property. And he was introduced to several locals, and he was escorted around by members of the CFA who donned their uniforms and come in, even though it was the Monday of the stall gift and it was a public holiday. They'd come in to show him around, and he was clearly disturbed by everything that he saw. We also met with Mark Sleeman while we were there, and we met several locals and families that had lost their properties or their businesses or both. Then it started raining, of course, and we had the flood, and everyone else has covered the drainage and cabbage and everything else. We were all a bit soggy, but we came through, and the races got run and they got finished, and it now looks like nothing happened down there. It's just green and perfect. So thank you to SGEM, thank you Murray for all of your hard work. Thank you to the SAC, the Northern Grampians Shire Council, all the volunteers that made this iconic day a tremendous success. It was. Well done. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, if I may, I'd like to move a motion that we note the reports from councillors.
Could I have a seconder?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. All in favour? Carried. All right, do we have any urgent business? No urgent business, thank you. We now can go to public question time. We do have several questions here today. Another one? Okay. Yep, thank you. All right, just have to find them. All right, the first question we have is from Elizabeth Harrington from Ralph Street. Elizabeth, are you here? No? Okay, so I'm just not sure if they're not. Do I read it out or we just... Vaughan, do you want me to read the question? Or you'll just get back to them?
I would
Okay.
like to.
Yeah, no worries. My name's Elizabeth Harrington. I'm a ratepayer in the Northern Grampians Shire. I watched your last meeting and was outraged that a woman would have to stand up for her rights because she felt discrimination and disrespected. Why did Lauren have to question her feelings? What is the council going to do about this? How is council going to show they are accountable for this issue? Can we have this in documentation to ensure women's rights? The answer... Can I hand it over to you, Vaughan? Do you want to read the answer, or are you happy for me to? The answer is, council has a councillor code of conduct that details procedures regarding councillor behaviour. Dispute resolution is not a public process. The process of dispute resolution is detailed within the councillor code of conduct, and we will make sure that there's a written that is written down and it is sent as we have her address to her then. Then I have a question from Jennifer Greenberger, who I know. Jennifer, would you like to step up and read your question?
Yes, I can do that.
There's... Lauren will give you a spot over here. Now remember, questions, there's a sort of fine line between what's a question and what's a statement. And I do understand that sometimes in order to make your question make sense, you have to preface it with something. So in this instance, I understand that, but please, over to you.
Okay, so is it okay to read it as I've got it written?
Absolutely.
Okay. I recently watched the live stream recording of the Northern Grampians Shire Council meeting held in St Arnaud on the 4th of March 2024. During the reports of activities by councillors, Councillor Lauren Dempsey chose to make a public statement pertaining to disrespectful behaviour she alleges was directed toward her by other members of council behind closed doors. I have two questions to council with respect to this matter. Firstly, what processes are in place at Northern Grampians Shire Council to support and address the situation when a councillor perceives that he or she has been treated in a disrespectful manner by a fellow councillor? And secondly, has there been any investigation or action taken by council to address the particular matter to which Councillor Dempsey refers in her public statement to council at the above-mentioned meeting? And then I think I did write a little bit more.
You're very welcome to read it.
Which I don't actually have because I added it when I put it on the form.
Would you like me to read it for you?
Please.
As a ratepayer considering standing for election at the upcoming Northern Grampians Shire Council elections, what assurances can council give me, that's you, that if I were to be elected, I would be treated in a respectful manner, and if I felt that this was not the case, what avenues would be open to me to have that situation addressed?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Haswell.
Okay, my pleasure. I'll just read the answers that I have here, which were given to me. In response to your initial question, the first question, the expectation of councillor behaviour and the procedures to attend to any breaches of expected behaviour are detailed within the councillor code of conduct. In regard to your second question, council is working through the process detailed within the councillor code of conduct. This is directly related to that question. The councillor code of conduct details both the behaviour, expectations and the procedures for resolving disputes as they arrived in respect to your last question. So these will also, answers will be detailed to you in a letter and sent to you at your address that I have as 3 Magdala Court, is that correct? Thank you very much. All right, moving on, I have a question here from Dean Hurlston. Is Dean Hurlston here? No? Dean writes, what amount of waste enforcement costs on the current financial year 23-24 has the council included in its waste levies charged to residents, if any? He's got 3 questions. The answer to the first one is $0 is included in the waste levy for waste enforcement. Waste enforcement is considered a local law compliance matter which is budgeted and paid for out of council's community safety budget and not the waste services, and therefore not included in the waste levy. His second question is, what amount of revenue has council included in the current financial year 23-24 from waste enforcement actions? The answer to that is council does not budget revenue for waste enforcement action, as we have a history of a minimal number of enforceable actions that have generated revenue. His third question, has that revenue been offset in the waste or levy or applied to council's general revenue streams? Any revenue, the answer is any revenue received is treated as a matter of local law compliance and therefore considered in the general revenue streams. So those answers will be posted through to Dean Hurlston. The next question is from Peter Rose, from Karapui. In relation to the eventual rehabilitation...
Is that Peter, is it? No. Okay.
No, I'm sorry, no. I beg your pardon if you are Peter. No, sorry. Right, well, Peter writes, in relation to the eventual rehabilitation of the Mine Lane pit, how much is the required bond that had been provided when the Work Authority was originally applied for? The answer to that question is Work Authority WA 33 that allows council to extract minerals out of the Mine Lane pit required council to hold a $50,000 bank guarantee. His second question is this now adequate to cover the cost of rehabilitation? The answer is the bank guarantee was originally established in 2003. Due to cost escalation and inflation over the past 21 years, I don't expect the bank guarantee would suffice if Resource Victoria enacted using it to enforce the conditions of the Work Authority. He's got one more question. What is the estimated cost of rehabilitation for the Mine Lane site? Council has undertaken rehabilitation works on this site as excavated areas of the quarry have been exhausted and closed in accordance with Council's obligation under the Work Authority. Rehabilitation work will require for areas in the quarry which remain open. Currently, open areas within the quarry cover approximately 13 hectares. It is estimated that the cost is in the order of $100,000 to rehabilitate. Those answers will be sent through to Peter Rose. Are you Eric? Yes. Ah, there we go. We're getting towards the end of the list. All right. Eric Madsen, would you like to come up and read your question, Eric? Do you have it with you? Yes.
Thanks for that. Firstly, thank you, Mr Mayor and councillors, for giving me the opportunity to ask a couple of questions. One is with notice. The first one is I've got some concerns about heavy transport and trucks not destined for St Arnaud Township, which are currently banned from using Napier Street and Kings Avenue, St Arnaud, which is the main street precinct. Street signs at the entrance and exits of our town currently serve to instruct these drivers to use alternative bypass routes, such as Dundas Street, St Arnaud, where are we? And away from Napier Street, Kings Avenue, St Arnaud. I've observed over many months that many trucks, at least 1 to 2 per day minimum, including B double trucks not destined for St Arnaud Township, currently ignore these signs and are routinely using the banned Napier Street and Kings Avenue St Arnaud route instead of Dundas Street, as it's more convenient for them. I point out that on the, Vic Roads website, there's actually a gazetted B double network, and it clearly states that those roads are banned from use. Where are we? I've also noticed the camber on Kings Avenue, in particular, at the southern end roundabout entrance of the town for northbound traffic, makes heavily loaded trucks struggle to actually safely turn into Kings Avenue from the Bendigo Road. And this heightens the risk of rollover accident at this roundabout. Furthermore, there's also a significant risk of injury and accidents to pedestrians and other traffic using this St Arnaud May Street precinct as a result of these trucks using these roads. Furthermore, these heavy vehicles will also accelerate the degradation of the condition of these roads with time, thereby adding to the chances of more potholes in these streets in future and hence costing Northern Grampians Shire ratepayers more in road maintenance costs going forward. The question I have is twofold. What is Northern Grampians Shire Council doing to monitor these trucks and also stop these trucks from inappropriately and dangerously using the main street of St Arnaud?
So just before I pass you over to Trenton Fithole for the answers here,
Sure.
I just need to figure out in my head which. I know the one that's the old main street of St Arnaud that they don't want everyone to use, that goes from the roundabout up through town to the other roundabout.
That's the entire road
That's
I'm talking about.
the one you're talking about.
Yes.
Mr Mayor, is the one from the bottom roundabout to the Botanical Gardens, and then miraculously changed the name to Napier Street up to the top roundabout.
Gotcha. To the Botanical Hotel.
Correct.
Yeah, and the gardens are opposite.
The block for Botanical is Napier.
That's good. Great. I've got it clear now. Cool. Trenton, over to you.
So I've got a bit of an answer here for you, Eric.
Cool.
And you sort of alluded to it in your question anyway. But, so trucks that are classed general purpose vehicles have the right of access to the entire road network unless otherwise restricted by load limits or signposted. This means that Napier Street is open to small, medium, rigid and semi-trucks. This is important to allow businesses to operate and freight and deliveries to get where they've got to get to. B-doubles or larger trucks, to the point, are restricted to use routes that are pre-approved or permitted to do so. Napier Street is not a permitted route, or Kings Ave, to your point, and for these trucks. This is a function of the heavy vehicle national law, which is regulated by the National Heavy Vehicle Regulator, NHVR, which can be policed by the Victorian Police. Traffic counts have been obtained on Napier Street and Kings Ave to determine, sorry, I'm losing battery, to determine the extent of the truck and traffic using Napier Street. We know that approximately 2.5 large trucks, be that B-double or bigger, are using Napier Street per day. Using traffic counts obtained from the Department of Transport and Planning for Dundas Street, we can approximate that 14% of all B-double trucks or larger that are travelling north or south in St Arnaud are using Napier Street. This is not our preference in terms of how Council envisaged the main street to operate, and there are many factors that could explain why we're seeing the inappropriate driver behaviour like that. Council has no authority to police this activity, therefore we do encourage individuals to come forward and report these instances to the local police or even directly to the NHVR. In terms of physical deterrence, the roundabouts at the top end of Napier Street and the bottom end of Kings Ave are the responsibility of the Department of Transport and Planning. The department has developed concept plans that seek to improve the roundabout alignments and do a better job of restricting heavy vehicle traffic up and down Napier Street and Kings Ave. And there we go, lost. Thanks, sorry. Find where I was up. And these projects are in proposal only by the department, and we have no comment on their likely implementation, unfortunately. As members of the Sunraysia Highway Action Committee, which Councillor Stasovic mentioned before, Council is using its avenues to advocate for these projects to be delivered in accordance with the requirements and impact on behaviour as we wish it to be seen.
Cool,
So,
thank you.
Right,
That answers
there you
the
go.
question.
So just another question. The roundabout at the service station, is there another roundabout up further when people are coming and they want to go down Dundas Street? They have to turn left, do they?
No, sorry, there's only two major roundabouts.
One at the top and one at the bottom?
One at the top, one at the bottom.
Right,
Yep.
got it.
The roundabout forces the truck, should force the trucks to go around up to Grey and along Dundas,
Yeah.
which is
to Napier, yeah. That's the one that the... Yeah. Got you, and it's clearly signposted that that's the way you've got to go. Yep, okay.
Kings Avenue is an extension of Napier.
From the botanical garden right down to the roundabout at the bottom, yeah? Is that right? Sorry.
I've just been warned to put my mic on. And apologies, Lauren. Kings Ave changes into Napier from the block before the Botanical Hotel. Okay? And Dundas is a parallel road to the east. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one because people just want to go straight ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fully understand that, but the signs clearly say they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
So it's just a concern.
Just a clarification though, there is access to the mill via Kings Ave, and they go up Millet Street to Kings Ave and then they swing around, so that you will expect to see some movement in that space, but anything further, other than crossing Napier Street from Inkerman across to Dundas, that's the only B double and above that should go through.
Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah, fair comment. Yeah, no, I'm talking about mainly about Napier Street, to be honest. Yeah. So, yep. Cool. Okay, cool. Thank you for your answers. Second question is without notice, and I apologise for that, just ran out of time. Second question relates to your electric vehicle charging station. So whilst I applaud Northern Grampians Shire Council for introducing a electric vehicle charging station at the southeast corner of Market Square in St Arnaud, and also install, I have a concern relating to this. Recent media reports indicate that queue management for electric vehicles waiting to use these charging stations are becoming longer as more electric vehicles are now on the road, particularly over public holidays and weekends. Recent pictures that I've observed show clearly at least 12 electric vehicles waiting in a long queue, which represents perhaps a waiting time of 4 hours. I got those calculations, 12 vehicles, 20 minutes per vehicle as a minimum for a Tesla vehicle. The question I have is, what is Northern Grampians Shire Council doing to manage electric vehicle queues at charging stations to minimise blocking access to public parking?
Trenton, would you like to answer that?
I can, yes. So our electric vehicle charging program, I suppose you could call it, has been more of an enabling function of council rather than a direct strategy of council. We've had organisations with this means come to us seeking space, and effectively we've done our best to enable that in areas where we think we can afford to do so. The backing up of EVs in this area has not been a consideration at this point in time, other than we aim to put these chargers in locations that allow for free movement and access, but finding a stacking area, hopefully the fact that these things are in car parks will help that, but we understand that will impact on parking generally. So, but at this point, no specific strategy.
It's early days, Eric.
I understand that. I'm just looking forward. So
Yeah.
I'm not getting one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just leave it there. Yep. All right, thank you. Well, with that completed, that completes our open council meeting for today.
We have one more question that I noticed there.
No, that is actually the one that Eric just read out.
Oh, okay.
That's also from Eric. So yes, I haven't forgotten one. Yes, so there being no further business at the moment, we will be moving into camera now. So I would ask that the public gallery be cleared. So there's no further business.
We'll pass those resolutions first.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we do this, I just want to pass a couple of, you may stay seated for a moment, just a couple of resolutions. that items 14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 14.4, 14.5 and 14.6 be considered in closed council as it deals with confidential information. Could I have a mover, please?
Yeah, happy to move, Mr Mayor, that we enter into closed council to deliberate on some financial positions with council.
Thank you, and may I have a seconder?
Give it a second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, councillor. All in favour? Carried. Well, you want me to do this one as well? No. No. Yep. All right. Now, what do? I do you, don't once the public galleries come back to me. No one there? All right, there being no returns coming into the public gallery, I'll ask the CEO, Brent McAllister, to sum up what we went through in closed council.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm pleased to report on the closed resolution items. 14.1, Council agreed to take up the first one-year option to extend contract C10 provision of quarry products and concrete supplies commencing 20th of April 2024. 14.2, Council agreed to award contract C5 2023-24 Navarre Recreation Reserve Pavilion upgrade to Onley Holdings Pty Limited for their submitted lump sum. 14.3, Council has decided to refuse the planning permit application fee refund. 14.4, Council agreed to waive the building permit application fee. 14.5, Council agreed to waive the building permit application fee and refund for planning permit application fee. 14.6, Council agreed that this item to be remain confidential. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no further business,